In a world where the land touches the sea, where myth and reality dance on the edge of one another, there is a story of love that should never have been. It's a story of a mermaid named Lami, born of the ocean's depths, and Iko, a fisherman tied to the land. Two souls from different worlds, pulled together by something stronger than fate. But when the sea speaks, it is never without consequence. And love, no matter how pure, cannot escape the powerful forces that govern the universe. As the sun dips below the horizon and the waves crash softly against the shore, the first chapter of this story begins. The question remains, will their love be enough to defy the gods, or will it be swallowed by the storm brewing just beneath the surface? In a village where the land and sea embrace, where the whispers of old myths linger in the air, there was once a forbidden love, a love that defied not only the laws of man but the very nature of the world itself. This is the story of Lami, the mermaid who dared to dream beyond the ocean's borders, and Iko, the fisherman whose heart could not resist her call. But as with all things touched by magic and fate, love is never without a price. And no matter how pure, the heart always finds itself at the mercy of forces greater than itself. Lami was no ordinary being. She was born of the sea, daughter to the spirits that ruled the oceans, as bound to the water as the tide itself. Her beauty was known to every creature beneath the waves, her voice a song that echoed through the coral caverns. But despite the adoration of the sea, Lami's heart, her heart ached for something she could not possess. She longed for something she could never touch. For her, the sea was both a cradle and a cage. She was bound to it, but she dreamed of something more. Every evening, when the sun dipped beneath the horizon, she would swim toward the surface, her heart pounding in her chest as the land drew closer. It was there, along the shore, where she first caught a glimpse of him, Iko, the fisherman. She watched him from afar, his hands working with the nets, his face soft with the wisdom of someone who had known the sea his whole life. Iko was no scholar, no man of mystery, just a simple fisherman who lived by the sea. He did not believe in tales of mermaids or spirits that roamed the deep. But that day, as he cast his nets and felt the warm sea breeze on his face, something changed. He felt it first in his chest, a strange flutter, as if the sea itself were speaking to him. And when he turned, his eyes met hers, her gaze, filled with something he could not explain, something that stirred the very depths of his soul. He didn't understand it, but he knew one thing, his world would never be the same. He couldn't explain the connection, but he knew it was real. And so, every morning after, he came to the shore, hoping, longing for a glimpse of the mysterious woman whose eyes had imprinted on his heart. Day by day, they found their worlds intertwining. Lami would emerge from the waves to meet him at dawn, and Iko would wait for her, knowing that with each passing moment, his love for her would grow. Their conversations were like a song, simple, yet profound. They spoke of things only they could understand, the sea and the land, two worlds colliding. One night, beneath the moon's pale gaze, as the ocean whispered softly against the shore, their hands touched for the first time. And that touch, soft and tender, was enough to ignite a fire between them. It wasn't a kiss of passion, not yet, but it was a kiss of something deeper, something unspoken. In that moment, the world was theirs. Nothing else existed but the two of them. But the ocean washed. And the land washed. And both knew that this love would not be allowed to flourish. Lami's father, the Sea King, had watched over the oceans for centuries. He knew the currents as well as he knew the beating of his own heart. And he knew what would come of this forbidden love. He spoke to her in the ancient language of the deep, his voice both tender and stern. "My daughter, you are the heart of the ocean, and yet you seek to cross a boundary that no one has dared to cross. The prophecy has been written for ages, love between land and sea brings destruction. Your love for him will bring chaos to both our worlds. And worse, it will destroy you." As he spoke, a vision formed in the water before her eyes, a great storm rising from the abyss. The sea would turn against the village, the sky would tear open, and everything she loved would be consumed by the wrath of the gods. But Lami was unmoved. The prophecy had been told to her countless times, but love, true love, could never be bound by fate or prophecy. She would not turn away from Iko. As the storms grew fiercer, the village elders grew desperate. The once peaceful coast was now a battleground between man and sea. And so, they summoned Iko, the man they believed would save them. They told him of his duty, of his obligation to protect the village. They demanded that he marry a human woman, a woman who could unite the villagers and bring peace between land and sea. It was his only choice. Iko's heart broke as he listened to their words. He knew what it meant, knew the choice he had to make. And though his heart ached with the thought of losing Lami, he could not defy the elders. Duty, he thought, was a weight he could not escape. But Lami had heard. She had overheard everything. The words that tore through her heart, the betrayal that shook her to her core. And so, the storm raged, and with it, the bond between the sea and the land was torn apart. Iko searched desperately for Lami, his heart consumed by regret and guilt. But the ocean, like the heart of a lover scorned, was unforgiving. For in the depths of its power, there is only wrath and sorrow. What happens when love is betrayed? When destiny itself is challenged? The answer is hidden beneath the waves, and soon, the ocean will speak its final truth. The world around them may be quiet now, but the storm is far from over. There are secrets in the deep that no one can escape. The question remains, can Iko undo the damage he's caused? Will Lami forgive him, or has the ocean claimed her heart for good? The storm is far from over, and their love is on the brink of destruction. To find out what happens next, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. The next chapter in The Betrayed Mermaid is just around the corner, and you won't want to miss it. Like this video if you feel the pull of their love, and share it with your friends who believe that sometimes, even the deepest love can be tested by fate.